Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games back with another cool pinball repair video for you today. Boy, we are deep in on it. This is a 1976 Spirit of 76 Gottlieb pinball machine that we have been working on. We've done several videos so far. I think 2 actually, but if you haven't seen those, go back and watch them or you'll be reading the book from the middle. Why would you do that? But we are up to the point where we're kind of troubleshooting it now. I've already cleaned pretty much everything, and it still ain't working. So once again, my clean all the switches approach has not found the problems, but that's fine. At least now we know they're all clean, right? Long-term longevity, it's good. It's a good thing. So I've cleaned pretty much all the switches, the player unit, all of that stuff. And I figured we would jump into kind of working through the next parts of it. So I'm trying to turn it on so that I can get the light bulbs to light up on the back here so I can replace all of the light bulbs. I like doing that with the power on so I can see if they're working as I mess with them. But we've got a problem here that reared its head in an earlier video, and now it's doing it even more. So I'll show you what's going on. When you turn it on, jumping. That one's resetting. It's just cycling. None of the lights are on. Oh. Some of them are on. But it's just cycling and cycling. Okay, so why is it doing that? I'm going to show you how to use the schematics to figure that out. Okay? So it's the score motor's turning. You hear that in there, right? So the motor's turning. And then also, these 2 reset banks are resetting over and over and over again. There may be another one that's resetting too on the back. There's another one, but we don't have the playfoot up, so I don't know for sure. It was doing this in an earlier video. I never really caught why it was doing it, but we were working on other stuff. So here we go. Now, these are Gottlieb schematics. Gottlieb is very particular. They don't like you copywriting their schematics. And it was a small company, and basically that's one of the ways they earn money is by selling paperwork and stuff that people have lost over the years. And they use that to help develop new products, new replacement parts and stuff like that. So I can't just show you a copy of the schematics that you can print out or anything like that. Some of the other companies, you can find their schematics online. The Gottlieb ones you can't really because the company doesn't like that. So some people hate that, some people understand it, but it is what it is. So if you want a copy of schematics, I'm going to show you a little bit of them. The place to get them is the Pinball resource. So they pay for the right to make these copies, and they make nice copies. So it's cool to have like a paper copy that you can lay out and look through. If on a computer this is a little tougher. Now you'll notice this is brand new. So I bought one. So if I can buy one, y'all can buy one, right? So how are we going to figure out what it's doing? Well, the drop targets are resetting. That's our big clue. All right. So those use actually 120 volt power. They're on the primary side of the transformer instead of the secondary. And here you see 1776 target bank reset, 1976 target bank reset. One side is just to line. And then the other side comes over here, runs through a couple fuses, and runs over here, and runs through a switch on the motor. Now remember, we're hearing the motor turn. You have to pardon all the dirt on my hand. I've been working on this thing. We're hearing the motor turn. Okay, so as it turns, it's closing that switch, and that's the gong that you hear. It's providing power over to those. But that will only work if the S or the P relay is pulled in. If you can see, if either one of these pulls in, it would provide power to both of these switches. That makes all of those coils reset. Okay, so it's either the S relay or the P relay. Has to be closed. And that's assuming that the U relay is closed. Well, we figured out on a previous video that the U relay is the first ball relay, and it's on pretty much the whole time that the machine's on. So that's correct. So we know that one's closed. So we know what must be happening is the S or the P relay must be closed, or at least the switch is closed, which is why that's getting power. Okay. So S and P, we'll remember that. It's like the stock market, right? So the S and P relays, if either one of those were to close, here is the score motor that we hear turning, right? And you can see there's a switch on the D relay, the E relay, the G relay, the O relay, the S relay, and the P relay, the N or W, the AX, and a switch on itself. So if any of those close, it starts the score motor. So I think you can say pretty confidently that this S relay or the P relay must be on for some reason. And that's starting the score motor and also providing power to those things. So what are the S and P relays? Well, the S relay is the start relay. Isn't that nice of them? And the P relay is the add player unit relay. Now I noticed when we were messing with it the other day that sometimes that add player unit relay would pull in. So I think that's our culprit. So we need to figure out what makes the add player unit relay pull in. See how you got to work backwards through the schematics? Basically you look at what it's doing, which can be a light bulb's on, something like that. Well, in this case it's resetting the pop bumpers, and that kind of tells us where to look, right? And then you work backwards until you figure out, you find the switch at the beginning of the problem. So something with the P relay, whatever it is that's making the P relay come on. So here is the P relay. Now if you go back from it, there is a switch on itself that holds it on. But that shouldn't be it. Might be, but shouldn't be. And if the I relay is not on, that switch will be closed. And then we go back and... the trough switch. So if the trough switch is closed, that would turn on P, which blah, 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 blah. So maybe that one's stuck closed. Now the trough switch is not to be confused with the hole switch, which was where the ball falls here. The trough switch is between here and here. So let's lift up the playfield and see if that switch is stuck shut. So there's the out hole switch, and that's the trough switch. And it is not stuck shut. It's just fine. So sometimes if the short is not there, sometimes the short is over here. These two will be touching, but they're not. So it doesn't have anything to do with the trough switch. That's definitely open. So there's the P relay. So barring that anything has been rewired, with that trough switch open, it cannot get power that way, but it's still got that switch on itself. And then as the motor turned, blah, blah, blah. So it could be a misadjusted switch on the actual relay. So let's check that out. Here is the infamous P relay. Boy, I wonder what kind of algorithm stuff I'm going to get going with this. I've said P 50 times in this video. Okay, folks, here is the P relay. I was filming this a second ago, and then the door opened and hell came in. But they've left, and we survived. Sure enough, look at this switch on the bottom. Now, I cleaned this thing. How did I not see it, Joe?
It's broke.
It's obvious. It's broke. So that switch is already closed. It should not be closed until the relay pulls in. So I'm going to bend that out slightly, and then hopefully that will fix our problem. All right. Here we go. That didn't fix nothing, Joe. Let's do it still running. Hey, it's not resetting though. So maybe we did. Okay, so I'm going to lift up the playfield and we're going to look at what coils are pulling in. So it's just running. It could be the home position switch on it. But let's see if any of these turn on and off. Yep, I saw it. It was the bonus unit score relay. Look, Joe, it's this one right here.
That's what I figured it was the whole time.
See it pull in? You see it, right?
Yep.
Now these two up here are also pulling in. That's the game over relay and the first ball relay. Those are supposed to pull in. Joey, why is the bonus unit score relay pulling in?
It's broke.
Or is that the right one? Let's see here. Yeah, bonus unit score relay, which is called E. E is pulling in. That's next up. So here is the score motor. And sure enough, the E relay, if it were to come on, would make the score motor turn. So that's exactly what's happening again. Now, if we come down here to the E relay, notice it also can hold itself on with a switch on itself. Same problem we just had until these open. Okay. However, I looked, and that switch is not stuck closed like the other one was. So that's not the problem. So the only other way I can get power is up through this way. Okay. Now, notice too that when the score motor turns now, we are not getting these resetting. So why are those not resetting? Because we fixed that problem. The P relay is no longer coming on. So every time, the score motor turns for all kinds of reasons. There's 100, things that can make the score motor turn. Or I guess it's 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 8 things that can make the score motor turn. But it'll turn for all kinds of reasons, and it turns all the time. But it won't reset those unless those conditions are met where that one of those relays is shut, right? So our problem must be this direction. So if the 0 position bonus unit switch, which opens at 0 position, so it's not back to 0, right? And then if one of these 3 are closed, it will do that. The ball return switch. I think that's the lane switch. I think that's this one. So if it were closed, and it is, but I think it's supposed to be. I don't know. I'm about to look at that. So it looks like maybe what's happening is they want the bonus unit to get to 0 position, where this would open, and it would connect up to here. Which, if all these are on, would turn on the O relay, which is the ball return relay. Yeah. But it's not going to do that because we're not at the beginning of the game. Let me look around. Okay, so I have looked at the play field. The bonus unit is not in position 0. See how this bar here? This should turn around and go over here and mess with these switches. But it is not. And it looks like for that to work, like the J relay or something would have to be on. So we're going to do it one more time and just see if I can see anything else that's sticking on. So let's watch these 4, for instance. Now it wanted to cooperate. Well, now it's doing it right. I took that relay out, the E relay, and just looked at it, but I didn't do anything to it. So that shouldn't have been it. Or maybe I just did it when I messed with the switches. Right? I just hit that. Let's see if that looks right. It looks like I've got those right. I don't know. These intermittent problems where it won't do it over and over again are harder to fix. Doesn't seem to have anything to do with it. I don't know. Well, let's try to start a game and we'll see from there. But first, I'm going to go ahead and put my light bulbs in that I was worried about. Oh, wait a minute. That's not going to work. So 3 of them are not lit, so maybe we figure that out next. So here are the player lights. Okay. So as the player unit turns, P1F, P2F, P3F, and P4F, that switch, as it turns to 1 player, 2 player, 3 player, 4 player, is what turns on all the lights. Okay. At the end of the game, though, they should all come on. We're at the end of the game. So they also have this BX and BX relay that turns on players 1 and 2. And then 3 and 4 are turned on by Q, which is the game over relay. So we have 4 is on. Maybe they're just all burnt out. No? Okay, so there were 2 different switches on the game over relay that did 4 and 3. So let's look at that. All right, folks, so this is a pretty strange problem. So 2 of the game over lights, the score lights, are done by this last ball relay. Those 2 are working. And then 2 of them are done by the game over relay. So there are 2 separate switches on the game over relay, as you saw in the schematics, that make that happen. So one of them, if I can get some light on it just right. One of them, let's see if it'll zoom all that far, is that inside switch there, the one all the way near the metal. It's a green and black wire. So that switch, that one's working. But on the other side, it's also this middle switch here, which is a brown and black wire. Okay. Now the common to both of them is this black and red wire. And so it attaches to this one switch. And so when this relay closes, that wire on that blade touches this blade and makes the one light work. It's working fine. But this wire over here, when this relay closes, touches this blade and it's not working. Well, this wire has a little wire jumper connecting it from this blade to this blade, so that the same 2 wires can provide power to both sets. And they do this a lot, actually. But if you look, there's a little jumper connecting them. But the jumper has actually broke. And so it's just one little tiny, see how it's moving? So that little daub of, is that a word? That little glob of solder there has broken loose and is not electrically conducting. So I need to solder that back together. And that should get all of our back box lights working the way that they're supposed to. Okay, folks, I'm going to show you something really cool. This is very exciting to me. Now, this is the Prospector game that we were working on a little while back. Okay, in the back box of the Prospector, I put flash bulbs. Okay, and I've talked about on the channel before that they stopped making the flash bulbs and it was hard to get. So basically, these are 455, number 455 bulbs that just the heat makes the filament move and it turns it off and then back on. Okay, and so they stopped making them, which means that we were all hoarding all of our flash bulbs, and it was a big thing. It was a big thing. The price of the bulbs was going up because they didn't make new ones anymore, etc., etc. So I mentioned on the Prospector video that we were able to find new ones, that they started making them again, a different company. Okay, so in this Prospector, I put the old bulbs that I had, the old stock bulbs that were, I think they were EICO, E-I-C-O brand. So I'm going to show you like one bulb. So like look right here. See how that just lit? And then you wait and about 5 seconds has went by and then it lights again. And then you wait and about 5 seconds has gone by and then it lights again. Well, they all do that. So there's one behind there. It's doing the same thing. It flashes on and then it's off for about 5 seconds. Okay. Okay, so those do flash, but they flash kind of slow. And so it's a little slower than the original flash bulbs were, the old school ones that were like General Electric and stuff. But since you've got several of them, it works, right? It looks like they're all kind of twinkling and stuff, but they're off more than they're on, right? And so it leaves that not quite how it originally was intended. It was supposed to be they're on more than they're off. So the really old ones did that, right? So we mentioned on this video that the reason that pinball's in the floor again. I think it's following me around. That the reason that we put those in there is because we were using up the last of our old ones, and we got some new ones. So a company started making them again. So the company is Memotronics. Now, I don't know who these people are. They are not paying me or anything. But they're making brand new ones now, again. So this is really cool that they were able to start making the new bulbs. Now, let me show you what's going on with these. Everybody go out and buy as many of these as you can. If you buy them all, though, I'm going to be mad if I can't get any. Let me show you something else cool. They have the globe top instead of the straight top. So the 455s we were getting looked like that. They just looked like a regular bulb. But these have the old school globe on them. So they got that right. They look like the original style ones. So I haven't had a chance to use any yet, but I just popped a couple in this machine. And guess what? You're going to love this. All you old pinball heads are going to love this. Do you see how quick they're flashing? So they're not off 5 seconds. So just concentrate on this bottom one. See how it's completely analog? It just does what it wants to do, but in general it's a pretty quick flash. That's how they originally were. So this company, whoever they are, has completely fixed the situation. We had bulbs that before you could still get them, but they weren't quite like the original ones from the 60s and the 70s. But they've actually redesigned the whole damn thing and are making a, you know, almost flawless copy. Now who knows how long they'll last. But if you've got the old flash bulbs in yours that are the slow flashers, you might want to get these brand new ones that they just designed. The things are awesome. Okay, so let me put this back up and we'll see how it looks behind the paint. Much better. So the whole thing is they flash faster. It was a real problem, people. This is how they were supposed to look. Very cool. They did a really good job. I guess they just copied the GE design. Very cool. Okay, so we got all the lights going. What were we going to do next? I guess we just need to start a game and see what happens, right? I still got to clean the reels. But all of our lights are up. Or the lights look good. We got them where they all start how they should. And it now says 4 players can play at the same time. So we'll see if that's supposed to be right. So let's try to start a game and see if we get stuck in a loop again. Sounded pretty good. It says ball and play 1. We're on player 1. All the lights came on the playfield, but it did not kick the ball out. What's up with that? It's in there. Okay. Let's see if she'll score anything. $500 and add bonus. This is where we came into trouble last time. 2,000. Did not add a bonus. Try it again. I wonder if we were down below 1,000 before. Maybe. Seems to be right. Target score 500 and add bonus, so it's the same thing basically. You hear the dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, there's your 500. I love this too. I don't know if all of them did it, but Gottlieb surely did. Look how it goes up to 10 and stays there and just keeps going. That's so cool. That's so cool. 1500. How high can we go? I guess that's it on that one. So different bonus units had a different limit. So this one was 15,000. 15 positions. Very cool. Okay, this says 1,000 plus when lit. Well, that ain't doing a thing. You hear it clicking though? Hear it? Okay. Pop bumpers. Woo, Lordy, it didn't like that. It took my game from me, people. It killed the lights. So we still got some issues here. Okay. So let's figure out why. Now remember, we had some pop bumper problems before. Remember that? They were locked on, and I replaced the coils. You remember that? Let's figure out why in the world that would be. Is that stuck down? That is stuck down. So we got to adjust that. Okay, let's figure out why that would have just tilted the machine. That seems like the most important problem that we have at the moment. All right, so I'm going to show you where I screwed up. So here's the original one. All right, so that one's still original. And then I replaced these two. So there's the brand new one. Look, the part number is the same. Or it may not say on there, but there's a diode on it. I didn't even think about that. So I left the diode on it. Not good. Boy, my solder job looks great, though. Okay, so cut the diode off, and that should fix our problem. Be careful and don't cut the wire, though, while you're doing that. Someone was asking on the other video, on the other machine, if you can rewind these. Yeah, you can. And they were asking if you could fix them by unwinding them to the bad spot. Well, it depends on how many winds in it is, I guess. But if it's in more than 20 or 30 turns, really, you're really changing the strength of the coil. And then some other people were saying that, so we had a coil where the sleeve was stuck. Other people were saying that you could drill it out a little bit. Yeah, you could. That would work too. But it ultimately comes down to, you know, the new ones are like $10. So if you put a new one on it, that may be the best option. But yeah, if you want to try to save the old one, depending on where the wires messed up. If it's messed up inside of there, I mean, it's never going to be close enough to the end that you can fix it. But if it's just broke off the lug, you could unwrap one revolution and then have a longer wire, and instead of 540 revolutions, it would have 539 revolutions on it, so it'd be just fine. All right, so I got those cut off. That should fix the tilting problem. So let's try turning it back on and see what we've got. I need to start making a list of all the problems with it too. Okay, so the game started up, but it still won't kick the ball out. Let's see if the pop bumper pop bumps violently or not. That's more like it. Okay, now you might wonder, well, why was there a diode on there? It's because Gottlieb made other games that were solid state later on that used the same exact diode. So, I mean, the same exact coil. So they make the coil and then put the diode on it so that if you have a game where it needs the diode, you've got it. And then if you have an EM like this that doesn't use DC, that you can just cut it off, and it ain't no big deal. I just forgot to cut it off, and I guess I had the wires backwards from however it needed to be for the diode. Now on some games, I don't know if Gottlieb ever did it, but on some games they do have a DC circuit for the flippers and the pop bumpers, but not on this particular game. This is still all AC, baby. So I need to make a little list of all the stuff that's wrong with it so we can have something to work through and check them off as we go. Okay, so here's my list. One of our viewers made this for me. Look, that's me working on the pinball machines. See the little rat there? It's very accurate. Like I'm throwing that light bulb out. Okay, so it won't kick out the ball. The center eject is dead. It sometimes runs the motor on startup, so when you first turn it on, the motor is still running. The center light socket is missing up there at the top, that one rollover. The whole socket's missing. And we need to clean the score reels. But other than that, it's pretty good. Okay, let's see if we can find... I think we tested everything. We got the pop bumpers. I guess we should... well, I'm not going to worry about scoring because it's... I haven't done the score reels yet, so it's probably not going to score right. But I think that's about it, isn't it? Look, the bonus is not up. So it starts at 0. And then you hit this. Oh, it's because the ball's in there. So it was confused. It stepped up, but if you're off 0, it tries to collect it when the ball ends. So since the ball was still in there, it was trying to step it up and collect it at the same time. But we're still, I don't know if it's supposed to be at 0. I think it is. Maybe when it goes from here to here, that steps it up to 1,000. It seems to step up just right. So let's figure out if that's correct, and then we'll go from there. Oh, wait a minute. We got another light on. What's this one say? Nothing. I wonder if that's supposed to be an E. A, B, C, D, E. But that's an E over there. Maybe that's supposed to be an A or something. I don't know. Sure kind of looks wrong, doesn't it? Those are hard to get. Look, the B's crooked too. I might have to mess with that. And are the stars lit? No, they're not lit. That's 100, 100, 100. Chimes sound great, don't they? Okay, so yeah, let's see what is it supposed to start at? Bonus lights. One through 10. So let's see what steps up the bonus unit. Is it just when you score, or does it do it at the beginning of the game too? Okay, so it says add bonus unit. Now look at the line. See how it crosses that other line, but there is not a dot there, so it does not intersect with that line. That's just how it's drawn. Okay, so the add bonus unit, the only way to do that is through a switch on the D relay. The D relay is the 500 point and add bonus unit relay. So at the beginning of the game, it doesn't give you 500 points. So it also doesn't add a bonus to it. So it starts at 0, and that's just how it is. So nothing will step that back up to 1,000 points except scoring the 500 points and the add bonus. So that seems correct. So I think maybe what we should do is try to get it to eject the ball, and that'd be a good place to end. And then with the other few little things we can figure out on the next video, I'm sure we'll run into other stuff too. So let's figure out why it won't eject the ball. We're at 2,000. Let's drop this in here and see if it counts it down at all, or what the deal is. It's not. Boy, that was loud. Okay, so it likely has something to do with the bonus unit because it didn't even try to count it down. So it's stuck on 2,000 and just sitting there, and it's scoring, and obviously it knew that the ball was in the out hole, but it did not try to reset the bonus unit. So that's our clue that we need to try to figure out what in the world's going on with it. Okay, so I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to find what's common, you know. So the ball return doesn't work, and the hole kicker doesn't work. The hole kicker, that's a switch on relay G, which is the hole relay. The ball return uses a switch on O, which is the ball return relay, but neither one of those work. So perhaps it could be that switch, you know. That would explain why both of them don't work. Alright, but if you go down here to the subtract bonus unit, it's also not working. There's a switch at 0 position that needs to be closed until it gets to 0 position. That would kill it. So it could just be I've got 2 or 3 things going on at the same time. Alright. So let's look at, I guess, the ball return and the hole kicker. I was going to do just one of them, but they're kind of all, it seems like they're all tied together, or it might be the same problem. You remember when we landed in the hole, we heard something click. And I was wrong earlier when I said the hole switch was not to be confused with the trough switch. The hole switch is the one in the center. The ball return switch is the one at the bottom. So when the ball lands in there, remember it makes a bunch of stuff happen. So that must be happening, right? So the ball is landing in there. And then the bonus unit, that would be closed at 0. Right? But we're not at 0 position. So we're closed here, or I believe that's what's going on. So it's turning on the E relay, which is the bonus unit score relay. So that's why our score is going crazy. And then this is never getting down to 0. It should go to 0, open this switch, which makes it stop scoring, and makes this pull on. So since we're pulling in the E relay, that is why, well, no, the hole kicker wouldn't have anything to do with that. So when it gets done with that, the E, it would send the power up here and turn on O. O, man, where are we? O, this is complex stuff, people. O has to close to kick the ball out. Right? So even though they all look like they're related, I don't think they're actually related. So we need to get the ball to kick out first, and then that possibly will fix the other ones. The reason the ball's not kicking out is because the subtract bonus unit thing is not working, I believe. So what makes it work? It's a switch on the 0 position on the bonus unit with a yellow and green wire and a slate and red wire. So let's look at that. Okay, so the yellow and green wire is here, and the slate and red wire is here. So it's the center set of switches. And I checked it with a multimeter, and they are connected. See how they're moving together? So that is not the problem. So that switch is conducting as it should right now because we're not at 0. So this is what we're looking at. That switch is connected right now because we're not at 0. So at 0 position, that will be open. So that's fine. Okay. So you go back here. This AX is the reset control relay. That's why at the beginning of the game it will reset all of this. It's because that switch works fine. Well, that also tells us that all this other stuff over here is fine. So it's got to be something that's different between this line and whatever it is here. So the other ones, yeah, every one of them is contingent upon this E switch. Now E is our good friend, the bonus unit score relay. So when that pulls in, it looks like it's scoring the points, and then it's also a switch there is also supposed to pulse to subtract from the bonus unit. It could be this motor switch here too, 3C. So we'll look at those next. So let's look at the E relay, and there is a green and red wire on it that connects to. It's crazy how they do these long runs without telling you the wire color. Connects to, let's say black and white. Black and white. So let's find that. Green and red, black and white on the E relay. Well, sure enough, it's looking a little gappy. It's that middle one there. See the 3 sets of switches? See how the middle one's a little wider than the other ones? So let me see if I can carefully do this. I haven't been drinking too much caffeine today, so maybe I can hold it still. Okay, so this middle 2 switches, see how they don't actually close? It's a little bit too far. Now you shouldn't really push this top part, but I'm just in a position right now with a camera in my hand where I can't do it. I like to push down on the other end like the actual relay does, but this will illustrate the point. So I need to adjust those a little closer. And that may actually get our bonus working, which might get our ball ejecting. Okay, so here's our subtract bonus unit. We decided that switch was fine. And so the one that we just adjusted was this one on E. And like I said, other than when it's resetting, which is this line up here, all of these ways of subtracting the bonus are contingent upon that one switch on E. So E has to be closed. So what closes E? Well, like we were just looking at, the 0 position bonus unit. If the bonus unit is not on 0 and the ball is on the ball return switch, that normally closed switch on the motor, and that normally closed switch on the motor, and the anti-cheat switch, all of that stuff, right? With the motor just sitting where it's in the home position, those switches are all closed. And with the ball on the ball return switch, if you are not at 0 on the bonus unit, that will turn on the E relay, which will then step down the bonus unit. So all of that to say, when I put the ball back in and turned it on, it went click, click, and then stopped. Now, before, remember I was saying that it was cycling and stuff sometimes, blah, blah, blah. That's because we were playing with it a minute ago. I had stepped up the bonus unit to 1500 or whatever it was earlier, and then I turned it off and was messing with it. When I turned it back on, the ball's sitting in the out hole. So that immediately turns on the E relay, which turns on the score motor, starts it running. But since that switch on the E relay was never shutting, it wasn't able to knock the bonus unit down. So it couldn't reset that. That's why it was just running nonstop. So that's why it was doing it sometimes. Now, then when I hit start, what happened? Well, then the AX relay came in and reset the bonus ladder because it uses a different switch. It doesn't use the E relay. And it got it down to 0, but it still didn't kick the ball out. So we still might be a little iffy on the ball kicking out, but I think we might have fixed the bonus thing, and we might have fixed the thing where it was running sometimes at the beginning of the game. So let's see what she'll do. AX relays, resetting everything. We're back to 0. Still didn't kick the ball out, but I think we've got the bonus thing fixed. So let's see if I'm right about that. So it hit the trough switch, remember? Add bonus, add bonus, add bonus. Here we go, let's test it. That's progress, people. So again, the ball return happens because the O relay closes. The switch on the O relay as the motor turns, right? So how does the motor start turning? A switch on the O relay starts it turning. Okay, so what makes the O relay pull in? Well, Q can't be tripped. Q is the game over relay. AX can't be tripped. That's the reset relay. J can't be tripped. That's the bonus unit score control relay. But what ultimately this 0 position on the bonus unit, that switch has to travel. Not only does it have to disconnect from here at 0 position, but it has to jump over and connect over there, or the O relay will never happen. and the ball cannot kick out without the O relay. So I don't think the O relay is ever coming on. I think that's our situation. So I think it's that switch. Now it could be any of those three particular switches too. Just because those haven't pulled in doesn't mean that the switch is connected. So it could be I've got one of those messed up. So let's look at the 0 position on the bonus unit now that we're actually at the 0 position and we know it. So it's a white and black wire should be connected to a white and orange wire. So it's white and blue, not white and black, but it's that top one. And I don't know, man. We'll have to check it with the meter. Is that electrically connected? It might be. Okay, I'm gonna check it with the meter. Alright, I checked the bonus unit switch with the multimeter and it seems fine. And so now my culprit, I believe, is this middle one. This is the game over relay. I'm talking about these two right here. So you tell me if they're actually touching right now. I don't know if I can hold this steady enough. I don't believe those are actually touching. So, need to bend those a little tighter, and I think that might be our whole problem. Okay, so when I turned it on, all the lights are on, and the number 2 lights are not on. But that's because I was just in there messing with the BX relay, or one of them, I think. So the ball's in there. Let's see if it'll finally kick it out. Oh! Oh my God, we fixed it. Oh man, we figured it out. I knew we could do it. I had faith in y'all. I knew with you watching me. I'm like Hulk Hogan, you know, with the Hulkamaniacs supporting him. He could do anything. Oh man, it's amazing. We fixed it again, folks. Alright, so she still needs a little work. I don't want to play it too much because the bushing is messed up on the flipper. See how it's been dragging the playfield? I don't want to make that any worse. But here, I'll hit the left one. I could play it with the left one, I guess. We already cleaned the playfield, of course. Look at that. It says ball and play 2. Oh, it's working. I can't believe it. It's actually working. Not very well, but it is working. Look, the pop bumpers work. It says ball and play 3. Look at it. It flipped. We gotta mess with the flipper still, people. Look, it's gonna count the bonus. Double bonus. It said double bonus right on it. Got the fast blinking light bulbs in there too. This has been a great day here at Joe's Video Game. So I hope you enjoyed it so far. So I'll save my list here and we'll do another video finishing it up. We had someone ask, are you going to fix this Shipmates? People, if it's here, we're going to fix it. Of course we are. A gentleman brought that to us a while back. Wants us to fix it up. We're going to fix it up. We're going to put a new back glass in it. We're going to get the whole thing playing. It's going to be pretty cool. So it's coming up. But we still need to finish up this Spirit of 76. So that, I think we got most of the kinks kind of worked out. Let's look at our list one more time. Won't kick out the ball. Well, that ain't true. The center eject is dead. I imagine that's still true. The center light socket being missing is still true. We need to clean the score reels and the flipper bushing. There's probably a couple other things, but we'll find them in the next video. Oh, and the lights that I was talking about, it appears that those turn on when these turn off. All right, because all those are still off. So, I think we're looking pretty good. So, leave your comments below. Let us know what you think. Hey, you know how you can help our channel out if you enjoy these videos like this? These little pinball excursions that we go on. If you're going to buy anything on Amazon, use our link down below to take you to Amazon. Don't type Amazon.com. Don't do it. Not even once. Use our link, and it keeps a little thing in the URL or a cookie or something where it can tell that you did that. And then it gives me money because you bought something on Amazon. So let's say you want to buy a dartboard. If you click my link, it's not going to be to a dartboard. It's just going to be to some generic thing on Amazon. But now that you're on Amazon, I sent you there, and then you search on Amazon, you find your dartboard, add it to your cart, click the button, and I get like 3% of everything that you buy. Can you believe that? Isn't that amazing? So a lot of people have been doing that. We appreciate that, and we like it because it doesn't cost you anything, right? So that's cool. So we appreciate everybody that's been watching us, subscribing to us, and commenting on the videos. Don't forget to check out my brother Donnie. My brother has his own channel here on YouTube that we're trying to grow. I'm over there with him on the channel a lot. We have just started, I don't know if we've started it yet. We're about to start a new rehabilitation video or series where we're fixing this old mobile home that we bought that's beat all to crap. Now, I know a lot of you people in other countries don't have mobile homes, which is why you should watch these videos to see what it's all about. So we're going to be restoring a mobile home. Renovating is a better word. And we're going to be renovating a mobile home and then renting it out. So I'm over there with him on a lot of those videos, and I will see you on his channel, and I'll see you here on the next video on this one when hopefully we can wrap her up. Somebody has already purchased this game, so we need to get it shipped out to them so that they can enjoy it in their home. It's coming along very nicely. I love those fast blinking bulbs. Very cool. All right, folks, we'll see you on the next video.